Michael, you recently had the chance to play all of Bethesda's VR games.
Yep.
Were they fun? Let's get into it right now. Alright, so first up, Bethesda announced Fallout 4 VR E3 last year. You had a chance to play it. How was it?
So I got to explore as much as I could in the short time period I got to play. But it works out really well, actually. One thing that stood out to me was being able to control the Pip-Boy by just raising up your arm.
So all the UIs on your arm?
Yeah, and I was playing on Vive, so the little dial, I could either use the Pip-Boy itself, or I could use the dial to scroll through my items. Another great thing that I experienced was the bat system. It just slows it down, and then it becomes free aim. So I could just aim at the enemy.
It's like bullet time.
Yeah, it's almost like a bullet time, and it'll highlight each body part that I'm targeting, but it won't give me no percentages. I just pull the trigger. So it makes that game a little bit easier in a sense, because when you get into a battle, it could be very jarring. It could be hard to kind of get a control of the situation, but I think that the way they're implementing VATS this time around is going to work really well for it.
So the game's kind of been like a hybrid between an action game and like an RPG. Did it feel much more like an action game now that you're actually ducking and actually using your physicality?
Yeah, a little bit in the sense of the gameplay. I'm not sure how extensive it is in terms of like stats and building out my character. That remains to be seen.
Gotcha. And then how did you move around in the game?
The teleportation, so I would just like continually teleport.
Then there are
throughout the
options
environment.
if you wanted to just use like the
if I
artificial
recall,
locomotion.
Yeah,
as well,
if I
right?
recall correctly, I think there was an option for artificial locomotion, but I ain't having none of that, man.
that tends to make you a little bit more motion sick.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next game. You also tried Doom VFR, which I assume is like named after the BFG.
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah.
Let's kind of piece together what the F means there. But how was that?
That also worked surprisingly well, because I thought that Doom VFR was going to be too fast for me. And when that happens, that's kind of what throws me off.
Yeah, you get motion sick.
Yeah, but the teleportation worked really well.
It's kind of like a dash.
Yeah, it's like dashing. Well, there's two things. There's a teleportation, and then I could dash with the dial, so it'll move my character.
It's like strafing.
Yeah, like strafing, and that surprisingly didn't throw me off. So it was really smooth. Playing on Vive again, and the one thing that stood out to me is the glory kills. So you do shoot your enemies and they highlight, but the way you do glory kills is that you teleport at them, and you see yourself almost like shoulder bump them, and they just like fall apart. So the glory kills are really cool in VR. It works well. Interacting with my environment, it was nothing too special, but it was fun, and I got to cycle through, try out the different weapons, and it all tracked well, and it was surprisingly fast, and it didn't make me want to throw up.
And then the last VR game, which was kind of a surprise, was Skyrim Vr announced for PSVR, and I believe this is also coming to the Vive next year, right?
Yep, I played it on PSVR, but I asked if it's coming to other platforms, and they confirmed that it is coming to HTC Vive in 2018. And again, another surprise of how well it worked. The cool thing about it was that everything I equipped, like the sword, I can like actually slash it and have to like pull a trigger to actually do the action. So I was like slicing enemies, and I also had my spell in my other hand. Yeah, so I was like shooting flames out my hand.
I feel like a Jedi.
Yeah. So like the magic spells was real cool because I could actually like free aim everything. So it works well in PSVR, but I'm excited to see how well it can look on PC. So.
Cool. And then last question: did you have a favorite game? If you had to say right now.
If I had to say right now, I'm excited to return to Skyrim, even like 6 years after.
Yeah, it's kind of, people are saying it's being a dead horse, but Bethesda keeps re-releasing the game. But if you haven't played VR, if you haven't really tried these games in VR, it actually feels much more immersive. It feels like you're in Skyrim.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm really jealous. Anyways, for more game tech coverage, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.